friends and neighbors.
And hello, Code Monkeys.
It's BandGeek8408 here alongside Coded Lock Films. We're going to try something a little bit different today, but we'll kind of just go into it and let you figure out what we're doing.
Today we're going to be talking about our thoughts and opinions on the latest Pirates of the Caribbean movie, On Stranger Tides. And I figure it would be best to sort of start off with our general opinions of the first three movies. First one, I loved it.
I also loved it. I thought it was very, very well done.
The second one, I didn't hate it as much as a lot of other people did, because I did get the sense it was building towards something, even though it was built a little clumsily. So I'm a little more forgiving towards it than most are, but overall I just thought it was pretty weak.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same way. Same with you. I don't hate it as much as a lot of people seem to. I did enjoy it. I was entertained by it, but it just didn't feel quite as good as the first one.
And when it comes to the third one, I'm really not a fan. I thought it was overly complicated. I thought it was... actually, that pretty much sums it up really well. I just thought it was way too complicated, just was trying to do way too much, and really didn't succeed.
Well, I will admit that the third movie is kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I agree with you that it's overly complicated, but I love overly complicated, so... but
see, I do to a certain extent as well. I mean, you know, I obviously... I like The Watchmen, I like V for Vendetta, but I thought it was a little too clumsy for my taste, and I will admit that the climax of that movie is awesome.
Yes, definitely. I think that the weaknesses of the rest of the film are made up, at least for me, in the climax. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I suppose with that we can now move on to our general thoughts on this movie. I didn't hate it. I was just kind of with it. It didn't seem like anything special to me.
Yeah, I kind of share your lukewarm opinion of it as well. I enjoyed watching it, I was entertained by it, but there just wasn't that passion. I mean, say what you will about the second and third movies, but there was a passion and a drive to them, and I just didn't feel that with this one.
I felt like this was lazy, and I think the biggest problem with this is, and I think the reason why I was kind of bored while I was watching this movie, comes to Jack as a protagonist. Now, I know a lot of people were really, really excited that Jack Sparrow was going to be the protagonist in this movie, but the problem with that I've seen in this movie is that Jack Sparrow as a character is basically just pure id. He just kind of does whatever he wants in the moment. And the problem with having that character be the hero is it can lead to some inconsistencies. And the other problem with this character as the hero is that I never really got the sense that he really cared about anything that was going on. I mean, he kind of had to be dragged kicking and screaming into the plot.
Yeah, I mean, as much as people were happy that Will and Elizabeth weren't there, and I was pretty glad also that Will and Elizabeth weren't there just because their story was done, but Jack Sparrow is not a hero-like character. Like, he has his own agenda. He's not working for the betterment of mankind or anything like that. He just has his own agenda, and as a result, the character is inconsistent, like you said.
Yeah, and he is at his essence, I think, a comedy relief character. He's a really good comedy relief character. He's not insufferable like a lot of comedy relief characters are. He's really well done. But the problem is that when they take away Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley's character, the problem is they're taking away the straight man. And in the words of the Joker, every good comedian needs a straight man to bounce off of. And there wasn't really someone who was acting in this movie as a straight man. I mean, the closest we really had was Barbossa, and we always knew that he had his own agenda to things.
Yeah, and you mentioned Barbossa. One of the things that I noticed was that Jack and Barbossa both are at their best when they're acting off of each other. And they weren't really together until the middle of the film, and up until then it just felt really, really slow. Once they got them together, then the film kind of finally started to kick in a little bit. But yeah, it just didn't feel like it moved up until then. And I think the clergyman was almost a straight man, but he just wasn't developed well enough. Like he was a really weak character.
Yeah, and as the whole clergyman and the mermaid subplot, I just thought was entirely superfluous. And with the whole thing with the mermaid's tears and needing the silver goblets, I just thought that whole thing was just basically extraneous. I mean, all the magic and the rules about the magic in this movie are basically just pulled right out of the writers' asses. I mean, they never, it's never explained why they need these things. It's just, it's a fetch quest.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And the funny thing about this movie, I think, is that in a lot of ways they're trying not to be movie 2 and 3. They're trying not to be overly complicated and all this sort of thing. But they ended up being overly complicated anyway. Like, because of what you said, because it's a fetch quest, because of all these things that they had to do and that are never really fully explained, it ended up being really complicated just for different reasons.
I mean, they could have just as easily had, the Fountain of Youth has 2 spigots, for lack of a better word, and one spigot is the victim spigot, and the other one is the... Spigot is one of those words that sounds less and less like a word the more you say it. But I didn't think that it didn't need to be there, and it didn't really need to be complicated. And even with the mermaid and the priest, not only is the subplot superfluous, it doesn't really get resolved, I felt.
No, it really doesn't.
I mean, they swim away, and then she shows up and gives Jack the goblets, but we don't really know what happens to them.
Yeah.
Not that I particularly cared, but again, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, like I said, there's just no passion to it. I never felt like anything was at stake here. Like, with 2 and 3 and even 1, I felt like something was at stake. Like, something, was really, really important happening. Here it was just kind of a fun adventure. And another problem that I noticed, too, was with Blackbeard. He was probably the least interesting villain that they've had in the Pirates series.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, he wasn't sympathetic, I think, is the main problem. With Barbossa and with Davy Jones, they made them sympathetic. Like, they gave them some human element that we could relate to. With Blackbeard, he was just pure evil. He even says at one point, "I'm just a bad man."
Yeah. Which is, I suppose that can be fine in certain circumstances, but it just doesn't make for a very interesting antagonist.
Yeah.
And... even with all his magical powers, he never felt all that menacing to me because he just wasn't developed.
No, he wasn't.
I was never once scared of him. He was very boring to me. And basically, my opinion on the movie boils down to, if I could boil it down to one statement, it would be that the hero of the story doesn't care about what's going on, so the audience doesn't care about what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's a good summation. Again, it was fun to sit through. It was enjoyable to watch, but it left me satisfied. But that's about it. I mean, it was a satisfying movie, and that's about all you can say about it.
It was just okay, which is in a way one of the worst things a movie can be.
Oh yeah, well, especially something that's been built up like this. Like, it's the Pirates franchise. To say that it's just okay, it's just
Well, we're just about out of time here, so I figure we should just move on to closing thoughts and worth meter ratings.
All right.
I pretty much have summed up what I thought about it pretty well at this point. On the worth meter for movies that are still in theaters, I would have given it a worth waiting for the DVD.
And I would also give it a worth waiting for the DVD. It's fun to sit through. It's an enjoyable movie to watch, but probably not worth movie admission. Wait for the DVD.
No, definitely not. Yeah. All right.
Well, I think that about does it for our first tandem review. We're hoping to do a few more of these when other movies comes out. And so until next time, I am BanGeek8408.
And I'm Coded Lock Films. Let us know down there what you thought of the new format. If you're watching this on my channel, click the link below him.
And if you're watching it on my channel, click the link below him.
See you later.
Bye.